wedding feast at Cana is the setting for Jesus' first miracle, when he turns the water into wine after the wine has run out at the wedding feast. This is the moment when they began to believe that Jesus was the Messiah. It's just interesting to try and imagine what that moment was like for them. How did they go from, as a group, not believing to believing together?
Andrew told us that his friend the Messiah had invited us to a wedding in Cana, and I decided to go along because I like a good wedding. We all went, Andrew, James, John, and I. And we were having a good time until the wine ran out. Wine tends to run out at these things, but usually they have some cheaper stuff on the side that they pull out when this kind of thing happens. For some reason, these people didn't think to do that. It was awkward. For a while we tried to pretend all was well, but eventually we began arguing, in spite of our goodwill. Has anyone noticed that the wine's run out? Already? We just got here. We still have some in the carafe if you want some. I'm fine. I just wondered if any of you had noticed. It's not going to be much of a party, is it? Doesn't it bother you, Andrew? I didn't come for the wine. Your friend should be doing something about this. He's not my friend. He's the Messiah. Whatever you call him, he should be doing something. Especially if he's the Messiah. You should know better than to talk about the Messiah like this. Yeah, but we don't think he's the Messiah. Why are you all so against his being the Messiah? We're not against it, but if we believed everyone who said they were the Messiah, we'd be fools. He hasn't told us who he is. We haven't even met him. You could have introduced us. I introduced Simon, and I still don't believe it. Of all people, you should believe me, Simon. Hold it. I trust you in many things, but this is different. For something this big, people should make their own decision. That sounds about right. And when the Messiah comes, he'll surely perform signs. That's going to be my sign. What's going to be your sign? A sign. Something remarkable. I don't get what convinced you. I mean, was it just the fact that the Baptist said it was the Messiah? No, he invited us to see where he was staying. And what was so special? It had nothing to do with the place. You're dodging the question. It's who he is that convinced us. What about him? How he is. But what exactly about him? Just him. Don't waste your time, John. I've already gone over this with Andrew. John, what are you looking at? The table in the back. I've had my eye on your Messiah. His mother told him, and I quote, "They have no wine." How do you know? He can tell what people are saying by watching them speak. So what did Andrew's Messiah say? Essentially, to mind her own business. But she had her come back. That's so like a woman. She told the servants to do what he says. And now he's telling them to fill the water jugs with water. I've heard enough. This is ridiculous. This'll be interesting. They're filling 6 water jars. Maybe he thinks people are drunk enough to believe water is wine. All right, the jars are full, and Andrew's Messiah told the servants to take some and present it to the head waiter. The house of cards is about to come crashing down for your Messiah. Can we just wait and see what happens without being negative? The head waiter just tried it. He looks happy. Maybe he wanted some fresh water. All right, he said, everyone serves good wine first, and then when people have drunk freely, an inferior one. He told the groom he kept the good wine until now. If that's so, there's wine enough to drink our fill. Sounds like someone's trying to pull a fast one. Isn't that your friend Philip coming over? Yes, it is. Hey, Philip. Hey, guys. Something weird is going on. Your friend in the back is having servants take wine out of the water jugs. Well, is the wine legit? It's so much better than what we've been drinking. Try it. It's seriously good. It's gotta be contraband. He's not a smuggler, Simon. There's a stash of those jugs in the back, and they seem to be full of this wine, but I don't get why they waited until now to serve it. Those are the jars that the servant filled with water. What are we saying here? It sounds like we're exploring whether or not he really is the Messiah. No, we're not, but let's stop before this gets out of hand. What are you afraid of? Who said I'm afraid? This is probably a hoax of some sort. And he definitely didn't buy this wine. He's a poor carpenter. Well, if he didn't buy it, then somebody else did. No one from that group has left the house. I've had my eye on them. Then what's the answer? I'll ask him directly. Simon, don't embarrass us. Don't tell me what to do. What if something happened? Well, of course something happened. Don't be daft. Let's hear what John has to say. All I know is I've never tasted wine this good. I agree with you about the wine, but I can't accept what you're implying. I'm with you on this. For all we know, there may have been trickery. Or maybe it's just a set of crazy coincidences. Or worse. Worse than tricking us? What could be worse? He may have power from on high. It's the only thing that makes sense. No, it doesn't. Nothing makes sense. Yeah, this is just crazy. That's why it has to be the answer. What exactly are you saying, Simon? He's the Messiah. I don't know where I got the idea that the rabbi may have had power from on high, but everyone seemed to agree, even if no one actually said it. It's as if we were afraid to put our thoughts into words.
How does one make that transition from not believing to believing? I mean, you have to go through a lot to be able to come to this conclusion. It's exciting because once you know you've discovered the Messiah, so many possibilities open up. At the same time, so many responsibilities and duties loom in our future. Do we want this exciting life? Or do we want something that we're controlling, we're planning, at least we think we are?